You are the wind beneath my wings. Oh, you are the wind beneath my wings. Fly, fly, so high against the sky, so high I almost touch the sky. Thank you, thank God for you, the wind beneath my wings. Thank you.
Well, now I can't sing anymore tonight. There goes that. The volunteers, the staff, the donors, everybody who's here tonight, and some who weren't able to make it tonight, I feel like that song is super appropriate. Just speaking as an alumni of Boys and Girls Club, like those people in my life were definitely the wind beneath my wings. Coming from a broken home, coming from the things that I saw, the situation, the environment I was in. It was the staff, like I said. It was the volunteers. It was the donors who helped me be able to even afford to go to the Boys and Girls Club. That gave me a place to go to keep me afloat, to keep me out of trouble, to give me new direction, to show me new things. And I just think that is appropriate. And to be able to see these faces here and everybody who's contributing, it does my heart good. And to hear how much has been raised, and I know a lot more is going to be raised. But it does my heart good because I know there's a child out there that who is in a similar situation or comes from a similar background as myself, or even worse, where you're taking a young man as myself who had a hot temper at a young age. Like I said, I watched my older brothers die in the street, and I watched 2 of them go to prison. And I was on that same path. I remember when I first came to the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club, and I was attending, I would always get in fights. I remember taking a pool stick and breaking it over another child's head, and they suspended me. And I remember it tore me apart because I was like, what am I gonna do now? But the fact that they saw something in me, they gave me a second chance, and they continued to encourage me. So I was able to go from that child to one who won the Youth of the Year award, which is that's nothing but God, amen. And so with that being said, I definitely want to recognize, invite to the stage Miss Tina Carson Wilkins, and the Salvation Army is definitely indebted to her and her tireless support to the Boys and Girls Club. And so just join me in welcoming her to the stage, Miss Tina Carson Wilkins.
Good evening. Good evening. Okay. I'm used to, fixing them. Okay, so each year the Salvation Army provides the members of the Boys and Girls Club Advisory Council the opportunity to meet some of the brightest club members through its Youth of the Year program. They are mostly students who are about to graduate from high school and preparing to step into the world of higher education. The council members have the responsibility of getting to know more about the applicants through an intense application and interview process. This year's applicants were highly qualified to represent Winston-Salem at the next level of competition. They were involved in their churches, in our community. They excelled academically and were closely tied to the programs and activities of the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. However, when the winner of our 2015 Youth of the Year Award walked into the room, her exuberance, her confidence were immediately obvious from the moment she stepped into the room. She willingly shared her dream of attending and graduating college and compellingly recounted how and why she felt her worst days had prepared her to move forward and push herself to do some great things, despite having a difficult time during what was one of the most memorable semesters she had experienced in her young life. Her fortitude was apparent when we looked at where she had been and how she turned it all around within a year. We thought she was a wonderful representation of her family, her school, her church, the staff of the Boys and Girls Club, and of course, of the Salvation Army. Peter F. Drucker has been quoted as saying, "Only when you operate from strengths can you achieve true excellence." Keisha's strengths, her faith in God and in herself, her determination to do her best despite her fears, and her belief that life's lemons can make some of the sweetest lemonade if you never, ever give up on yourself. We think she's awesome, but we're a little prejudiced because not only is she a product of the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club's Career Skills Program, she is a former recipient of a Career Skills Scholarship. We know that she is going to do some great things. It is my absolute honor and pleasure to introduce to you our 2015 Youth of the Year, Ms. Keisha Imes. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to share my experiences as a member of the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club in Winston-Salem. It is not often that I get to tell a group such as this about how my life changed when I decided to take a leap of faith and learn how to conduct myself during interviews. I was at church one afternoon when Miss Pappy Conrad, the unit director at the club, made the suggestion that some of our youth group members could come and participate in the Career Skills program conducted by the members of the Boys and Girls Club Advisory Council in Winston-Salem. It is an intensive 12-week career exploration program that the Advisory Council develops for middle and high school students every year. At that time, I was looking for ways to help my mom out by getting a part-time job to pay for the things I needed for school. The breakup of my parents' marriage and a poor decision on my dad's part were stressful, not only for me, but my entire family. Losing a parent through divorce is a lot like being displaced. I kind of lost my footing because my dad became a visitor to our home instead of a resident. I was in elementary school when my parents divorced, but I remember it so vividly because life changed so much for all of us. We were reduced to one full-time paycheck, taking care of our needs instead of two. Because I am a little shy, I thought the Career Skills program might be helpful in bringing me out of my shell and help build my confidence in speaking with potential employers and or college admissions officers. So, I signed up for the 12-week workshop series. The very first night of the program, we were challenged to believe in ourselves and open our minds to new possibilities. The program developers select a theme song each year for the students to kick off the series. Our song was, "I Believe I Can Fly." You know the song, "I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about every night and day, spread my wings, and fly away." Now, I didn't think about flying away night and day, but I constantly thought about what I needed to do to have a successful educational career and how to put a plan in place for my future. I enjoyed the Career Skills program so much, I decided to participate in more of the programs at the club. I made new friends. I was much more receptive to the idea of going through interviews with strangers, and I even won a career scholarship, which was used to be paid for college admissions applications and school supplies and other needed items to continue my high school education. The decision to work on my interviewing skills led me to the Smart Moves program and Power Hour, just when I needed them most. Power Hour was my chance to assist young students who needed help with their homework. I was, and I am, very good in algebra, which I really enjoy. The time I spent as a volunteer with Power Hour made me feel like I was a big sister. That's kind of the big deal when you're the baby of the family. My mom always tells me I am a role model for somebody. So I came to feel that my ability to solve algebraic problems was my pathway to helping others. The Skills Mastery and Resistance Training, or SMART Moves program, which addresses drug and alcohol abuse and premature sexual activity, provided lessons that I share with my friends at school, at events, and even with my family. Who knew the lessons I was taught about the dangers of abusing drugs and alcohol would hit so close to home and ultimately be the information I relied upon to know that SMART Moves program was a program that everyone can and should adhere to. Who knew the things I learned about alcohol were so prophetic in nature, at least as it related to my family? My dad had fallen into reckless behavior, which included drinking alcohol. His decision to drink and drive led to a critical accident, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down. None of us could believe that the things would turn out as they did. The man I knew as my dad became a totally different guy following the accident that changed the course of his life and ours too. My dad was someone who, after making some pretty serious mistakes, came through quite a few adversities with the renewed spirit, which he shared with his family and friends. Maybe it was all the prayers we said for him. Maybe it was him facing that reality that it was he who put himself in the situation he faced. Maybe it was a combination of both. I don't know. What I do know is his actions affected our family in a profound way. After years of living life in a wheelchair, my father died. It was a difficult time for my family because he was a very important part of my existence. I was in my junior year of high school, and losing my father for the second time broke my heart. My grades suffered, my usual positive attitude was non-existent, and I felt like nobody could understand the pain I was feeling. I didn't even want to go to the club. My behavior was unacceptable. My mother and my sister were right there the entire time to do what they could to keep me motivated, but it was a struggle. My vision was clouded because I could not see any happiness through my tears. I started doubting myself and questioning if there was anything I should have or could have done that might have kept him here on this earth with me a lot longer. I recall the information that I received during my time in the Smart Moves program. One of our speakers said some people don't think about the outcomes of what could happen if they drink and drive. The outcome could be deadly. Truer words were never spoken. Once I really thought about that, I made up my mind that I needed to talk with somebody who could put me back on the path of getting into college and being Keisha again. After speaking with a trusted counselor who was also a minister, I decided to try to get back to my routine. The Word of God strengthened and sustained me. Finally, I was ready to go back to the club where I felt safe and cared for. The staff members at the club let me know that they would always be there to give me a hug when I needed it, share the good news of Jesus Christ with me when I needed to be uplifted, and offer strong shoulders to lean on when I did not feel I could stand on my own. They did what they could to help me understand that some things were out of my control. I knew that if I could have kept my dad here with me, I would have, undoubtedly. The club staff let me know that I had to be stronger than my circumstances and not let my struggle become my identity. One day, I thought about all the things they said, but more importantly, all they had done to help me, and I was determined to get my grades back up, which was a major accomplishment for me. I was even selected by one of my teachers as Student of the Year at my school. I still cry sometimes when I think about my dad, but that is okay. I believe it was a part of God's plan that I joined the club when I did. I had a support system before I joined the club, but it grew much larger when I chose to become a member. It is an understatement for me to say that my life has been impacted greatly by the club staff and our advisory council members. They have encouraged me to know that the words of Theodore Roosevelt are true. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. I am currently attending Winston-Salem State University. I would like to major in mass communications and have a minor in speech communications. It is my dream to graduate from college so that I may help others as a speech therapist. I hope to light the way for other young people in need of a friend, some positive words, and a shoulder to lean on. There are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. I am the mirror that reflects all the wonderful opportunities and love that I received at the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club, and I will always be grateful for their love and support. Now, I am ready to spread my wings and soar.
Others. And I think for me and my journey with the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club, and I see the same in Keisha, is that it was a place that taught her purpose, showed her purpose, helped her shine. And I think that's an important thing that a lot of these kids today don't get to see. Like, why are they here and what are they here for? And when you can tap into what your purpose is in life, there's no better feeling than that, because then you have a reason to wake up each morning and a reason to move forward. And it means a lot to me to hear those words, because it's just good to know the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club is still affecting kids the way it affected me. But I have to say the most important thing the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club did for me was it helped me cultivate my relationship with my Savior, Jesus Christ. And that's the reason why I'm standing up here in my Salvation Army uniform. It wasn't an easy switch, but I'm here representing because before I came to the Boys and Girls Club and the Salvation Army, I knew of God, but I didn't know what the abundant life was about, and I didn't know what a real life following Him was about. And I learned that through the Boys and Girls Club and through the Salvation Army. And I proudly serve at my corps in Nashville, Tennessee today. And I wear my uniform, not as much as I probably should, but I got it on here today. But the thing that I do know is that these things that I cultivate at a young age from the Boys and Girls Club at the Salvation Army are still in my heart. And what Keisha said about shining and spreading that's what the purpose is, you know. And so I'm gonna close my portion with this song, and it's called Shine. Now, there's a quote by a lady by the name of Marianne Williamson. Nelson Mandela used this quote in a speech, and kind of paraphrasing is that our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, but that we're powerful beyond belief. And sometimes we growing up, when you discover that you have something special about you, it's a scary thing, and you don't want to stand out, and you don't want to look different, and you want to kind of fit in with the crowd. But it's that light, it's that shine, it's that uniqueness that your purpose lies in. And so when you shine, you liberate other people to do the same thing, and that's what this song is about. Rain, it's just one of those things. Some days you got it, but hate, oh hate is only here because somebody taught it. See, how can we learn the lesson of love if we choose to hide in the dark? Shine so everybody can shine too. Yeah, open your heart and lead the way. You don't have to be afraid. It's in you. It's in you to rise high above your greatest fears. Yeah, and with a little bit of light, you can make it brighter here. Oh, 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 oh. So everybody shine, shine on, shine on. Everybody shine, shine on, shine on. Everybody shine. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Grace, we could use a little grace, sisters and brothers. And it's a shame, oh what a shame, when we do not give it to one another. See, how can we learn the lesson of love if we choose to hide in the dark? Shine so everybody can shine too. Yeah, open your heart and lead the way. You don't have to be afraid. It's in you. It's in you to rise high above your greatest fears. Yeah, and with a little bit of light, you can make it brighter here. Oh, 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 oh. So everybody shine, shine on, shine on. Everybody shine, shine on, shine on. Everybody shine. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Now I remember being a young man in the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. And when you grow up kind of in an environment I did, you don't hear a lot of positive things about yourself. But I remember the staff and those volunteers would always speak life into me and always tell me what I was good at and didn't always focus on the negative. They would say things like, when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, because you're amazing just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while, because you're amazing just the way you are. So pretty, pretty, please, don't you ever, ever feel like you're less than perfect. Pretty, pretty, please, don't you ever, ever feel like you're nothing. You are worth it. You know you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you were. Make it go up, 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 as you shoot across the sky. And everybody shine, shine on, shine on. 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 Everybody shine. Now, to introduce our guest speaker for tonight, I'd like to welcome to the stage Advisory Board Chair and Advisory Council Member, Ms. Lucy Painter.
That is quite an act to follow. Good evening. I cannot tell you really how pleased I am to see so many of you here, and as you have heard and seen, what exemplary people we have associated with the Salvation Army. There is not a week that goes by that I don't see God working through them for all of us in Winston-Salem. I just had my contacts changed today, so I'm not sure I'll be able to see this. Andy, congratulations. Well earned. It is a great honor to introduce our guest speaker, who serves as President and Chief Executive Officer of Krispy Kreme Donut Corporation. He joined the company from Papa John's International, where he most recently served as President and Chief Operating Officer. However, I must comment on what I have already learned and know about this man and the company he guides. I heard Mr. Thompson speak at a breakfast meeting at the Ken Carlson Boys and Girls Club. I was ready to vote for him for president. He is direct, he is honest, he is guided by his faith, he is committed to his work, but also his family and the community they live in. He and his wife Susan have 5 children. I recently received an email from one of the employees and a fellow church member of mine. This employee just wanted me to know how excited she is to be able to work under his leadership and how admired he is by his fellow employees. I was so glad to hear that, as Mr. Thompson is connected to the Salvation Army, an organization I admire. Since 2013, he has served on the National Advisory Board of the Salvation Army after serving his local Salvation Army board in Louisville, Kentucky. And personally speaking, our 3 children might not have grown up to be as sweet adults as they are if they had not enjoyed the Saturday morning ritual of the drive to get donuts at Krispy Kreme. And I often thought our church, St. Paul's Episcopal Church, used those heavenly Krispy Kremes on Sunday at breakfast as their evangelical tool. And it worked. So I truly am honored to introduce to you the maker of sweet things, our speaker, Mr. Tony Thompson.
Thank you. We on here? Test. We on? There we go. Thank you, Lucy. That was so kind. Very, very kind. I will be announcing my presidential campaign after the meeting tonight. Just kidding. Wouldn't that make that race